Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show this evening. Tonight's guest, we have Jack Bryson out of Oakland, California, originally out of San Francisco, but he resides now in Oakland, California. This man started the dialogue, the Barbershop dialogue in Oakland, California, and he's here today. We're going to talk about some interesting things that we think the public need to know, they need to hear, coming from the person that started this dialogue, and what he's doing today to help and give back to his community. So we're going to bring in Frank Bryson. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you, thank you.
You know, it's an honor to have you on this side of the bay again
Yeah.
and be part of this show.
Yeah, thank you.
I was just telling people about the Barbershop dialogue
Yeah.
that you came up with in Oakland, California.
Yeah.
I've attended, I think, 4
Yes.
different dialogues in Oakland, and it's really a very interesting program that you came up with, the sheriffs and the police department dialoguing with the community.
Right.
Let me ask you a few questions
Yes, sir.
about yourself first, and you might want to tell the audience who you are and your background.
Okay.
So you originally from San Francisco.
Originally from San Francisco.
Okay, you're
Yeah.
native San Francisco,
Yeah.
and you went across the water.
Yes, after the earthquake. Went across the water after the earthquake because we lost our apartment. We were staying on Fillmore and Eddie.
Okay, and you went across the water.
Yeah.
And you continued your work.
Yeah.
So what kind of work you do? How did it start?
I'm a community activist.
Okay.
I started, I always was like a little political, but it was back when you were young, you didn't really want to talk about it because the cats that I was hanging with, we were off into other things,
Right,
and
right.
we didn't want to talk politics. It was more like, don't talk about politics. We were talking about
Other things.
other things, street life,
Right, right.
And then moved over to Oakland, and then I became an activist on December 31st, 2009. There was a young man named Oscar Grant, and he was murdered by a police officer. And my 2 sons were amongst the 5 young men that were with Oscar that night. And, I immediately, soon as Oscar, found out he was murdered, I got involved because what I was scared of, whenever there's a young man or woman that's killed by a police officer, the company that he's with could be charged with that murder.
Right.
So that's what I was afraid of. So that's why I started organizing. Plus Oscar was murdered.
Right.
So it was an injustice.
Okay.
So I started organizing.
Okay. I want to bring on the audience. We're in people's living rooms and bedrooms today. So I want to bring on the audience and allow the audience to come in and speak. This is a live show. Number is 415-861-6645. Call in and ask some questions about our conversation, our dialogue, and become part of it. The phone number is 415-861-6648. Call in and take part of our program discussion tonight. Okay, Mr. Bryson, so continue. I'm going to call you Mr. Bryson because you're Mr. Bryson today on the show.
Nah.
Okay, so continue about Oscar Grant and your work that you do now.
Yeah, I started organizing, and I met a lot of people around the United States, traveling, speaking, organizing. It was an eye-opener, but just, I don't know, everything happened so fast, and now that, at times I don't even know what was going on, because all I know is I was trying to, fight for Oscar Grant's legacy, protect the young men that were on the platform with Oscar Grant, and change policies against police brutality, but it just happened so fast. It didn't even know what was going on, didn't even know what I was doing.
Right,
You just, because you're in, you're in that, and you're in the thick of it. And you're going against politicians, you're debating politicians, you're debating police officers, you're organizing, and my mind just never settled. And I lost a lot too. I lost kind of like affected my family relationship, the job, lost my girlfriend, lost my apartment, you know. I lost a lot of stuff, but I gained a lot too,
Right.
a lot of knowledge, but the stuff that came with it, you know, so.
Well, you know, sometimes we do things unconsciously
Right,
that affects our life.
right,
You know, and we look back and say, was it worth it?
right.
You know, was it worth it for you to lose what you have to gain what you have now?
It's balance, you know. It was worth it, but then again, like when you organize and you're dealing with so many people, and one thing I was trying to do is protect Oscar and the young men, but I was also trying to protect Oscar's legacy, because you have people who have, what I found out, and I got into it with a lot of people, you have people who have their own agendas. It's not about Oscar Grant or
Exactly.
police brutality, it's
Exactly.
about their agenda.
Right, right.
And that was more of a headache
Right.
than anything, you know, trying to keep the people who were trying to move their own agendas.
Right, right. Yeah, people get into things, they have their own alternative objectives to
Yeah.
get things and do things.
Yeah,
You know, whenever there's money involved or something that could be earned from it.
yeah,
You know, the fame, whatever.
yeah,
You know, people come
Yeah.
in like crabs
yeah,
in a barrel. They pull
Yeah.
you down and pull themselves up.
yeah.
So sometimes, yeah, you got to pay attention to that.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to do, you know, and that's how I learned a lot, you know.
Right.
I learned a lot. You know, I learned, you know, you're hated by many, loved by few.
Exactly.
It goes backward, you know. I understand, like, when you're in this position, I understand, like, I'm not comparing myself to Martin Luther King or Che Guevara or all these great leaders who stood up for something, but mine was small. I mean, Oscar, I'm not saying the police brutality thing was small, but becoming an organizer and traveling, the stress that comes with it, then you start getting attacked, your family starts getting attacked, you know, it's like, whoa, all I'm trying to do, like,
Exactly.
whoa, what would you do if this was your son and his friends, and we're all like family, so what would you do if this with your family?
Exactly, exactly.
You know what I mean? But you get attacked, but then there's people out there that, man, keep speaking, you know, you're speaking good,
Right.
you know. I would never sell myself out for the community that I grew up and loved, but those are the things that come, you know, it was dangerous.
Well, I've known you for a short period of time. The time that I've known you, you know, I see fighting you. You know, I see fighting in the work that you're doing is outstanding work. You know, you're doing things, and you know, I came to the first barbershop meeting. I was invited by a mutual friend of ours, and I came to the meeting, and I was really impressed. You know, I've never sat in a room with police and sheriff before, and was comfortable. You know, and I came to the room where you and a bunch of other returned citizens was there, and we was totally comfortable being in the room because there was something being done. You know, it wasn't no arguing, wasn't no fussing.
Right.
You know, it was something being done. We was dialoguing, and it meant something.
Right.
You know, so what you put together with that, yeah, man, you're doing outstanding work, man.
Yeah, and you know, I didn't do it by myself. It was like, I got a friend named Mikey Carroll. He's from San Francisco. He grew up in Lakeview. He's a lieutenant in the Alameda County Sheriff. And then I got another partner that I, you know real well. His name is Lieutenant Bobby Hookfin. And, you know, like, these are my partners. You know, so while people are out there protesting, breaking windows, and just, you know, doing stuff, and then when I'm in the crowd and I'm looking, and they're in their gear, and, you know, and they're looking at me, and, you know, like Mikey Carroll's mother, fed me, took my kids on camping trips. And these are police officers that I grew up with, you know, but then I'm surrounded by people I didn't grow up with, but they're telling me, you know, F the police, they ain't nothing. But then, you know, everywhere I go, I played football over in San Francisco, basketball. These are the cats that I grew up with that are officers now. So I was like in a tug of war. And at first I was like, I didn't want nothing to do with the police, you know. Then Bobby Hookfin, he was saying, man, look, what happened to Oscar Grant, that affects me too.
Sure.
I'm an officer, and that affected me.
Sure.
Everyone was affected by it.
Sure.
So then, you know, that's, you know, so one day me and Mike were talking, he said, man, this is getting out of hand. So, you know, he mentioned a barbershop. Me and Bobby Hookfin been trying to do this for years, and Mike, so we just came up with the barbershop dialogue. And I wasn't gonna do it, because I didn't want people saying, Jack, what are you doing talking to police and the DA and all that? But like when I meant you, Jerry, Darius, Nate, you know, cats that have come home, you know, my friend Kazim, all these cats, you know, and I was telling them what I was gonna do, and I was like, man, how do you feel about that? When I got the approval from you guys, that made me feel comfortable to do this, because here we have young men that done almost life, half of their lives, and you guys were the ones that are affected. So I don't care what other people have to say, but what happens is the cats that are from the hood that said, "No, Jack, that's cool." That's when you guys said it was good. Then that's when I felt comfortable doing it.
Well, like I said, you're doing outstanding work. You put something together, and when I come, I'm comfortable because I'm listening to officers talk, I'm listening to sheriffs talk, I'm listening to people out of the community talk, and everybody making sense. If you have a problem in your community, right, don't allow somebody from outside of your community to come be part of your community. If you got a problem, become a sheriff, become a police. Get involved in something that you can rectify. Don't have somebody come from outside. You know your neighborhood. You know every part of your neighborhood. When you was a child, you rode bikes all around your neighborhood. Become and help your neighborhood out.
And that was one of the things that was bothering me while I organized. If I'm sitting at a table, I walk into a room and there's 40, 50 people in there. And then, there's some legitimate organizers, but then when the faces that I'm trying to organize don't look like the community that I'm from, but yet I see these faces and they don't even match, they don't even connect to the community that, like, one time I was mad and I said, man, I was talking about Brookfield, Sobrani Park, Campbell Village, Fillmore, Hunters Point, where these communities are affected, Sunnydale, where police brutality happens. And I asked them, they didn't even know where it was at. So how can you represent a community and say you're fighting for a community, but you're not connected to the people who are in the community? They don't know nothing about it. So that kind of pulled me back from it because, every time you organize, those folks from those communities weren't there. And I was like, man, am I doing the right thing or am I doing the wrong thing? Because, who am I speaking for? Who am I representing,
Well, I say in our communities, we have the right to be a voice in our community, and we have a right to say things in our community. But then we have people that come outside of our community, and they come into our community, and they want to be a voice in our community. They don't have the right. You got people that go out and they get jobs and different things. They might go out and be into construction. They might become a bus driver, a mechanic, whatever, But we need people in our communities to police our communities, And these youngsters in our communities, they go out and get jobs, but they get to a certain age where they kind of like trip and they become part of the system. Get messed up.
Yeah, it only takes a second to get in, 1 second and a lifetime to get out of it.
Exactly, to destroy everything that you worked for. That you grew up, that your mother, father put you up in school, whatever. Take 1 second to mess it up. But when you get a certain age, you can look back and say, man, I wish I hadn't done that, man. If I hadn't done that, I could have been a highway patrolman. I could have been anything you want to be, But you allow, that peer pressure or whatever it is to take you off balance.
No, I agree. I mean, one of my biggest regrets, I didn't graduate from junior high school or high school. And that's didn't go to college. I taught myself how to read because I like reading the sports page. But then I started reading Donald Goring books, stuff like that, and then but then I taught myself how to read, but I didn't educate myself. And one of the biggest things that I regret is not educating myself, not going through the system of educating myself. And when I used to sit in rooms and there was college students, there was intellects, there was people that I've seen growing up that were former Black Panthers. Everyone was intelligent. So at first I was scared to speak, but then I was like, if I don't speak to the audience, then the people who aren't from the community are speaking, then they're gonna have they're speaking for a community that they don't represent. So if I don't speak, I'm not standing up for my sons, I'm not standing up for my community. So at some point I said, okay, I'll stumble, I'll fall, but I can't be afraid because I'm not educated. So
no, we have to speak up. And I find that speaking up, sometimes you can go to certain places, and I go to certain places sometimes, and I used to be a part to where I wouldn't say nothing, but I wouldn't say nothing for a reason, because I had a bad speech impediment. I couldn't talk. So when I talked, I'd fight somebody. So I didn't say nothing for years. But I learned how to talk. And they got a problem now. You know, because I ain't got no problem saying things.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so that's what you got to do. You
Right.
got a voice. Don't let your voice be a handicap.
Right.
You know, don't let yourself be a handicap.
Right.
Right. And we all have some type of handicap.
Right.
Right. But the handicap that you have knowledge. You know, you got you're mobile. Everything's mobile.
Right.
All your faculties in order.
Right.
Use what God gave you.
Right.
You know, use your voice.
Right.
Use your mind.
Right.
And use it in your community.
Right.
Bring the community back like it should be.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, you know, one thing, I may not be like degreed and all that, but one thing, learn, that's what the streets can teach you.
Exactly.
The streets can teach you, you can compete with anybody.
Exactly. We have degrees.
Exactly, that
We have
knowledge.
degrees. That's right, we got street knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of people don't get. So we got degrees.
Yeah.
We got master degrees.
Yeah. And if you look at it, the most, like, I look at you, the young men, you know, when I go to your events, the circles, the most dangerous man is the man that's educated and the man that knows the streets.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's who's the most feared man.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's real. That's real. So we have to continue doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because the work that you're doing, outstanding work, man. You know, uncut.
Yeah.
You know, you should be recognized for what you're doing, because a lot of people don't have the nerves to do what you're doing. And your thing is that, see, you say you go into certain places and you don't know what to say. But once you open your mouth, it comes out. It comes out naturally because it's in you.
Right.
Right. It's in you to come out, and you know, I say the higher power, or you know, God don't make mistakes, or whatever. You know, God do things for you when you open your mouth. It just come out.
Right.
And
Right.
it comes out right. That's the good part.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And then one thing I learned is think before you say something.
Right.
Just don't talk.
Just don't talk.
Yeah.
That's
Think about it. If someone asks you a question, think about it. Let it rush through your head, and like come out with the right answer.
Exactly.
Just don't be like blah blah blah
Exactly.
blah blah. You know?
Exactly. Now we had a barbershop dialogue here in San Francisco a couple weeks ago. You know, over in the Bisodale in Golden Gate. That was the first one we had in San Francisco.
Right.
And that was a good one.
Right.
You know, that was good because we had some people there for the first time.
Right.
You know, and that was a good one. We had we made a lot of waves because we had a district attorney from San Francisco.
Right. Very sharp young man.
Very sharp young man, and he's out of the neighborhood. He's out of
Fillmore.
Born and raised in
Yeah.
Fillmore.
Played football with him.
Exactly. You play football with him?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know.
Yeah.
So he's out of the neighborhood, out of the hood, so to speak, and he's a district attorney now.
Right.
You know, he said he formed a program that's been in effect 14 years now.
Right.
You know, and that really sparked me when he said that, and he wants people to come and be part of the program.
Right.
You know, I'm still trying to get in contact with him because I want to sit down and talk with him because, see, this is my community.
Right.
Right. And it's time for me to give back.
Right.
I've been going a while, so it's time for me to give back.
Right.
To my community. I've been giving back since I've been home.
Right.
Right. But my job ain't never over.
Right.
You know, I'm work in progress.
Right.
Right. So it's always room for improvement.
Right.
So we have to go back to our communities and give in our communities. And every barbershop dialogue that is, God willing, I'll be there.
Right.
You know, because the work is being done.
Right. And young men and women like yourselves who've come from these communities, who paid the price, you know, that's who's important to these barbershop dialogues. Because what I don't like is, like, if you have a mayor and she's having a roundtable discussion about the violence in the community or the economic injustice or the education, if you have people sitting around the table, you have people who are speaking for the people who are affected by this. You never have the people who are affected at the table.
Right, never,
impacted, not impacted and affected. The impacted is never at the table to discuss the issues.
Never.
But yet you have these people who aren't from these communities saying this should be done, this should be done, but they haven't been impacted.
You don't know the feeling. You don't know how it feels to be jacked by the police. You don't know how it feels to be handcuffed. You don't know how it feels to be thrown in the back of the police.
Or
you don't know nothing about that.
Don't know your situation, like to 20.
Going to prison 27 years. 9 months, no crime I didn't commit.
Exactly.
You know, locked up doing every day of 27 years. And 9
So
months.
how can you not, and other young men and women like you, how can you not be funded, or how can you not be the voice, or how can you not be the voice at the table?
Exactly.
And that's what I'm tired of. It's like, that's what I want to organize. Like if I go to a panel discussion, it was getting on my nerves, and then I see a professor or intellect or someone who writes and all that. When I see them sitting on a panel talking about the stuff that you went through, how can I even relate to you? How can you draw my interest?
You can't. You can't. You can't relate to them because they haven't been there.
Exactly.
They don't know nothing about. They going about what they read out of a book
or
file,
studies.
or studies.
Yeah.
You know, but they've never been there.
Right.
It's just like a person running CDC. You running CDC, but you never did down in CDC.
Right.
You know, you never been on a prison yard.
Right.
So how can you run
Right.
CDC?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So what the work that you're doing, like you said, we need people there that's been in the trenches, that's been in the mud, that's been in the prisons, been in the solitary confinement for years, for months at a time, and all they get was a tray and a tray slot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And all they hear was doors opening and closing,
Right.
and people walking down
Right.
down the hallway. You don't even see them.
Right. Or the screams.
Yeah, exactly. The screams and the hollers.
The screams and the
You know,
hollers.
at nighttime, no, it's unbelievable, man.
And that's what I want to organize, giving that situation, mass incarceration, giving them the voice. Mm-hmm. I was watching a documentary the other day, you know, about mass incarceration, young men coming home, and the young man couldn't even adapt back to life because he wasn't prepared. And then I thought about you, you know, I was like, man, not a lot of young men can do what you're doing.
Yeah.
Or other young men, you know, your sanity's still there. A lot of young men don't.
They lose it, man.
They lose it.
Yeah.
And then when they come home, they don't want to deal with the mental stress.
Right.
You know, and I think that's one thing we have to. That's what I'm saying. It's so important for the impacted to be their own voice. Mm-hmm. You know, like one thing I look at Empire. America loves Empire. Okay, but this is a Hollywood script.
Sure.
These young men and women who play this never lived that lifestyle.
Right.
But yet, Terrence Howard is making millions and millions of dollars off the lifestyle that you paid the price for.
Exactly.
And that others paid the price for.
Yeah.
But yet, there's no debt paid back to you.
Right. At all, period.
Or the other cats from the streets that lived that lifestyle and did well.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. Yeah.
But yet, Empire can make millions and millions of dollars.
That's right.
And he could be glorified, a hero, but you can't even get an organization.
Isn't that cold? That's cold. Really,
yeah.
You know, I come home, and my goal has been to start a transition house for long-term offenders.
Exactly.
Women and men. I ain't talking about short-timers. I'm talking about people coming on that have done 20 years over. I can't even get that started. I'm gonna have slack about getting that started. You can't. Why can't I? I did the time. I know how it is to come home from prison and try to start your life back. I know how it is, how it affects a person coming home after being institutionalized and getting back into society. I know how it is.
Yeah.
Why can't I start a transition house for long-term offenders?
Yeah.
I know what they need.
And you can relate.
Exactly.
But how is it people that can't relate, like for my sons, for instance, they still suffer from what happened to Oscar.
Sure they do.
Not one person, no activist, no one has came to the aid of these young men who've seen Oscar Grant get killed.
Get murdered.
Murdered right in front of them.
Get murdered.
To this day, they still suffer from that.
Sure they do.
And they're struggling in life.
Yeah. And no one's come to assist them in no kind of way.